2025 has had a lot of manga-based episodes, but we are not done yet. It's time to take a hike up the mountains and find the differences between the Detective Conan anime and the manga. Will we find any differences? There's only one way to find out, so let's get started. We start off with Kogoro out of breath and an anime original shot of Conan looking extra annoyed at Kogoro. The anime here skips out the detail of Kogoro playing mahjong the night before, which isn't important to the case, so I guess that's why they left it out. When Heiji tries to act intimidating, in the manga, Washio gives Heiji some sharp teeth, but the anime takes it one step further and gives him some fluffy ears too. The anime expands on Heiji and Kazuha's scene during Ran's monologue, where in the manga it is a wide shot of Ran looking at Heiji and Kazuha looking at a butterfly, but the anime lets the scene breathe and makes it one of the most memorable shots in the episode. Once it starts raining, in the manga, Kogoro starts looking for shelter and finds a temple. But this plays out differently in the anime, because here, Conan is the one who spots the temple and not Kogoro. Conan always has a keen eye for detail, so it was nice for Washio to give Kogoro a small win for once. Well, at least in the manga. Once they're in the temple drying up, one of the monks tells them that the rain will stop in the evening. But the anime emphasizes that they can see the view of Mount Fuji from the veranda. When Kazuha asks Ran what she wanted to tell her, and Ran tells her about Shinichi and her going out, the anime adds an additional shot of Conan's reaction. When Heiji loses his charm, the anime pads at the scene with a few extra lines, like the temple priest walking in and asking what happened, and Kogoro getting an extra line spliced between the priest and monk talking. When Conan and Heiji run to the scream in the punishment room, Kazuha and Ran ask where the flames went. But in the manga, Kazuha and Ran don't have any dialogue. They just see the body and scream. Just like every other episode of Detective Conan that is adapted from the manga, the eyes of the victim are closed. But all the other details, like the dried lips and the stubble, are kept intact. When Conan inspects the wood shavings near the body, Ran calls Conan to step out of the room. But this isn't the case in the manga, and instead cuts to Kogoro waking up in the next panel. At the end of the first episode, when Conan realizes Kogoro's image, the anime adds a line of Conan and Heiji finally putting the pieces together. This is usual for a classic Conan cliffhanger, but this was not a line in the manga. The next episode starts off with Kogoro trying to send the picture to Ran, and Conan and Heiji noticing the picture, but in this episode, when they do see the picture, the scene is faithful to the manga with them recognizing the image, and not saying that they solved the case immediately like the previous episode. When Kazuha sees Hattori's reaction, she tells Ran not to worry, and then we get a cool illustration of the final manga panel of chapter 1177. With the only difference being Ran facing away, because in the manga, Heiji and Conan walk past Kazuha and Ran to go to their room instead of going back, which is what they did in the anime. The anime adds an additional shot of Conan opening a door and finding something, which was not in the manga. When Conan and Heiji deduce the hidden room, Conan has an extra line to Ran and Kazuha to be careful of the ashes when climbing the stairs. After Kogoro takes down the perp, the anime adds a shot of Conan looking at Ran pushing Hattori and Kazuha on the veranda. Once Hattori drops the ball in the confession, we get an excruciatingly long few seconds of silence. This kind of feels like how we all screamed at Heiji when we read the chapter in the manga. The anime also goes the extra length and gives us an extra close-up look at Conan and Ran's priceless expressions and how big Hattori fumbled. The after-credit scene of Ran, Conan, and Kogoro is completely original to the anime, with Ran planning the next trip to get Hattori to confess to Kazuha. We then get Conan thinking that they should get Kogoro to the hospital. After that, it cuts to content from the manga, with Mimoji on a plane with the Yori, and the final scene of Hattori remembering he forgot to confess. And that is the end of this anime versus manga breakdown for this case. There was a lot more anime original dialogue sprinkled throughout the episode, which is more than I expected. Usually the final episode has about 10 to 7 minutes of content from the previous episode, kinda like the case from 17 years ago. But this only is about 3 to 4 minutes, and instead includes the anime original post-credits scene with Ran. So far, the manga-based episodes adapted in the anime have been one-upping themselves. Recently, they've been having a good balance between being faithful to the manga and having some freedom with the adaptation. With that said, there is still a lot more Conan coming, with the potential Kaito Kid case coming up next, and as well as the new Conan dub dropping in November. So it looks like November is gonna be a great month for Detective Conan, so I'll see you in the comments.